on a similar planet to what we have in real life, but just way farther back in the past of the timeline when technology was a lot worse. During the Wild Wild West days before smartphones and stuff that we have currently, in this Red Dead Redemption universe, especially Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, there was this gang of people that used to look out for each other and things of that such. And a part of this group was, John Marston. Used to be a part of the Vanderlyn gang. It's really not much to say. A gang of outlaws, renegades, and misfits bonded together under the charismatic and idealistic Dutch Vanderlyn. They have chosen to live outside the law and now fear it may be catching up to them. That's the game events of Red Dead Redemption 2. And they give you like a little Laurel Marston, once an orphan street kid under Dutch's wing. At the age of 12, John has always had to live by his wits. He's fearless and strong-willed. He and Arthur Morgan are Dutch's proudest proteges. Arthur Morgan's another main character, the main character of Red Dead Redemption 2. See, when it comes to John Marston, straight and simple. In 1885, Dutch saved the boy from a lynching at the hands of some homesteaders who had caught him stealing in Illinois. The boy had turned out to be a 12-year-old John Marston, a bad kid who started robbing and killing at a young age. When John was 8 years old, Marston spent the next few years in orphanage before running away to make his own luck on the streets. That's when Dutch got a hold of him and became one of his proudest proteges. Him and Arthur, of course.
We were all bad kids, lost, angry, and forgotten. He kind of saved us.
And turned you into criminals.
Dutch didn't see us that way. We robbed banks, stole from the rich, and we gave the money to people who needed it more. He saw that the system of power was rotten, that good people had been crushed for too long, and he believed that change could only succeed if it was brutal and relentless, make America what he felt it was supposed to be.
Let's analyze how strong John Marston is. I mean, it's one of those grounded worlds. It's nothing too over the top because it's in a semi-realistic-ish type world, you know what I mean? Not necessarily any superpowers and stuff involved, just grounded. But with this being said, don't get that twisted. One can say due to video game logic, they still do stuff they shouldn't be able to do or stuff that's technically impossible for normal humans, but let's get into it. I mean, it's a Western type game, so he has some type of combat ability when it comes to different weapons, like a shotgun, for example, up close and personal weapons like a knife. He's also skilled enough with a knife where he can throw it and hit you accurately. He carries multiple weapons on him at the same time. One could say he can get stealthy if he wants to because he can pull out the throwing knife to take out people without making a lot of noise because guns are loud. So a lot of ways he can take you out. One could say this is marksmanship. Long story short, he seems like he's got knowledge with multitudes of different type of weapons, whether it's one weapon or holding two at once, dual wielding. Matter of fact, there's been a lot of situations where you see him shooting, but he got his other hand on the other gun ready to use that one, working together with other people like Sadie Adler, for example. No matter what situation we're talking about, he seems to be good at multitasking, like riding a horse while still having great aim to shoot while getting chased down at the same time. Even having face-offs against other people with their guns to show his accuracy. He's such a fast shooter when it comes to being a gunslinger that the only way to really beat him is that outnumber him massively. The fact that they had to bring so many people to take out one guy lets you know how much of a threat he is, and the fact that he didn't really have no cover either. So yeah, he's not invincible, but he's definitely a good fighter to a decent degree, before his demise, of course. It's shown that he has some combat knowledge when you see him choke out different beings, or he can choke out beings without necessarily having a gun if he needs to. If he wants to, we've even seen him use a lasso to tie you up if he has to. Well, tell me why there was actually cutscene lore of games where he actually got attacked by a bear. When it comes to strength, he's not on par with a bear or nothing. It's one of those situations he needs to use a gun against it. But if he is attacked, you would think due to the size difference, this would be an instant L under pressure to stab it with a knife to get an opening to shoot it like that. Like, don't get me wrong or twisted when it comes to his physical strength. He ain't like no super soldier or something, but even if you double team it, it's not like a guaranteed win still. When it comes to how hard he can punch, even with scoop beings up like this to get him in a position to just do straight up blunt punches, showing he can just get a man up to the wall like this and just manhandle him to show his strength. Even lifting him up, one could say. He's got to be above your average strength when it comes to an average man's strength, right? Nothing too crazy, though. But he'll still knock you the crap out, though. He's one of those people, even if you get him in a hole, it's not necessarily an end-all, be-all, because he will still counter you. Blocking attacks with a headbutt. Similar to Arthur Morgan, they've had to wrestle with cattle, different creatures, bulls, just the standard Red Dead Redemption stuff. One could say this is partly because of skill, endurance, willpower, getting hit by him and getting back up. This bull, for example, pulls him. Not really a lot to go off of, but it's stuff like this that kind of gives you some idea of his strength being above average. One could say he's athletic. One could say reeling this bull in with a lasso. There's some stuff we should automatically assume that John Marston can do. If Arthur can do it with his physical strength, like this alligator junk, he can survive. The vice grip of it, this should apply for Marston, because in the lore, they are Dutch's greatest proteges or proudest proteges. And when it comes to their body size and everything, they're about the same size and build, I would say, or not too different from one another, right? Like, Arthur might be just slightly bulkier, but the size difference between the two isn't astronomical or nothing, right? Both fighters, both used to fighting, both above average strength. It makes sense. Physical strength wise, he ain't nothing crazy. For somebody like John, I would definitely say it's expected to where he can definitely punch or dent in a hole in the wall. With his punches alone, not even counting his gun power, just like his straight blunt punches. With the guns, it's even worse, like a sawed-off shotgun, for example. Technically, he has explosives. One can call it dynamite that can produce even more power than his normal guns. One can say his dynamite could be more destructive. One can say blowing holes through solid steel. Like, you can literally see the results of how he can blow through the door, metal door that was at the top, to where he can just walk and go in there now. I mean, he's technically a human, but he has survived some craziness. One can say this is partly because of willpower.
Thanks for coming for me.
That bullet in Blackwater, now this.
We're gonna need to come up with a better story for that scar.
Freezing, bleeding, starving, damn near getting eaten to death ain't good enough for you.
It's crazy to think about how guns in general are just considered dangerous, but his aim and marksmanship is the thing I would say he specializes in, and it's so good to where he can choose to not kill you if he wants to. Even if y'all in a drawing contest, basically, he can have it to where he can just disarm you instead. When he actually gets in lethal duels, he's actually murked certain folks. Someone that's apparently
You're the fastest draw in the West. Shut this fella up.
Well, let's step outside then.
When it comes to draw speed, Marston pretty much shut that mess up when it comes to his shooting speed. This gives you an idea of his draw speed. There's like 3 different men in this particular occasion. He's fast enough to take care of all of them before they can even shoot him first. This is the kind of stuff to let you know how he's not normal. Even getting in a shootout with his former partners or gang members or former gang members, like the snake known as Micah, thanks to the last second heroics, gave him an opening, and you know John Marston lit him up. All kinds of betrayals among the gang. That's why this crap can't work out. But guys, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. How strong do you think he is? Not much to really go off of. You know, they're pretty standard street tier-esque type characters. You know, their guns is what makes them hit harder. You get the idea. I still want to be able to play with Sadie Adler, but that's none of my business. But before I get going, everybody, thanks for the donations. Helps out a lot. Respect them. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.